Listen, man, during the ball drop, during the lottery drop, Cleveland got the #1 pick. I just don't think that was just
What
a coincidence.
Don't you think?
Wemby with the Spurs. That wasn't a coincidence.
Oh my God!
Rose,
Let's keep LeBron home. You know what? Patrick Ewing to the Knicks. Derrick Rose to the Bulls. But I understand the assignment, guys. I had to make sure that, I had to do my part. I didn't want to be a fuck up. I just didn't want to be a fuck up, man. Like I said earlier.
Hey, man, look at that. Hey, good doing business with you.
It's obvious what's being done out here. It's on a nightly basis. I hope the world can see now what's really going on out here, because it's getting ridiculous. It's really ridiculous.
The second pick will be made by the San Antonio Spurs, and that means that the #1 pick in the 2025 NBA draft goes to the Dallas Mavericks.
Rolando Blackman, all smiles, four-time All-Star, celebrating. The Dallas Mavericks had a 1.8% chance to win the #1 pick overall in next month's draft. They had never won the lottery. Again, they had the chance to get in the top 4.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an incredible experience to be here, to have this opportunity. This is what I dreamed of since I was a little kid. So just to be here, it's an incredible experience and a great opportunity. Yeah, I think for me, it's always about just getting better all around. It's not one specific thing that I'm looking at. It's just a collective group of things and just trying to get all around better every single day.
The Dallas Mavericks made it known that they look for two-way players. Guys defend. That's what bring home championships, and that's why they traded Luka Doncic. You are a two-way player playing alongside Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving. What you looking forward to?
Yeah, I think, like I said, this entire experience for me has been amazing. So going forward, I'm just going to look forward to that. Like you said, being a two-way player, that's something that I've done since I was a little kid. So I'm just going to try and keep doing that to the best of my ability.
Cooper, Dallas this is a good team. Did you see this coming? You must have thought about where you might be going, but I'm surprised. But you're going to a very kind of built team already. That's pretty unusual for what I think being the top pick.
Yeah, I think for me, I didn't try and think about it too much. I feel like it was just kind of out of my control. So I'm just kind of going through the process like everybody else and just trying to enjoy every single moment because we only get to do this once.
Basketball fans, welcome back. So the NBA draft lottery happened yesterday, about a day ago, and I made a video talking about it. And in this one, I'm just going to add on. And the Dallas Mavericks won the #1 pick. And with that #1 pick, of course, they're going to draft Cooper Flag. No brainer about it, no question about it. And I feel like he's the consensus #1 overall pick in the 2025 NBA draft. And there were very crazy reactions, especially when it came down to like people saying that the NBA is rigged, which I firmly agree on. And in this one, we'll be looking at 8 times the NBA draft lottery has looked completely rigged. So the Dallas Mavericks' improbable win of the 2025 NBA draft lottery with just a 1.8% chance has reignited conspiracy theories about the lottery being rigged. And we have 8 examples on here. And I'm going to go ahead and show you as to why this is the case, because there were a couple of conspiracies that came out. Even LeBron James, when he went to the Pat McAfee show.
Listen, man, during the ball drop, during the lottery drop, Cleveland got the #1 pick. I just don't think that was just
What
a coincidence.
Don't you think?
Wemby with the Spurs. That wasn't a coincidence.
Oh my God!
Rose,
Let's keep LeBron home. You know what? Patrick Ewing to the Knicks. Derrick Rose to the Bulls. I understand the assignment, guys. I had to make sure that, I had to do my part. I didn't want to be a fuck up. I just didn't want to be a fuck up, man. Like I said earlier.
He came out and said, Patrick Ewing being drafted by the New York Knicks. We had him being drafted by the Cleveland Cavaliers, his home team. Derrick Rose being drafted by the Bulls, among many others. But in this one, you're going to look at a scenario. So the 2025 NBA draft lottery delivered a shocker. The Dallas Mavericks, with a mere 1.8% chance, won the number 1 overall pick. This is an unexpected outcome, especially with the whole controversial trade of Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers in exchange for Anthony Davis, which had made it was a shocking move, and I consider it as a blockbuster move, and it had starred renewed suspicion on everyone in the NBA world. And you could see a lot of people did not like the way Luka Doncic got traded, and the whole hate was directed to the Dallas Mavericks front office, especially Nico Harrison, and him getting rewarded. That is what has made people be angry all the more, especially his reaction. So many are questioning the integrity of the lottery system, suggesting that the NBA might have orchestrated this result to compensate the Mavericks for bringing back ratings to the league because of that whole Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers. So Luka Doncic to the Lakers are a big market team. The Dallas Mavericks are not a big market team, and that's the reason as to why this whole situation, it went viral. And even people who don't even follow the NBA that much, they were even giving commentary on it. And you could see that a lot of people are very angry, especially the Dallas Mavericks people who, the fans there, the Mavs fans for life, were very angry. And one thing I can say, this is not a new thing to see, this draft process being rigged. And, Luka Doncic, he departed. We talked about it at length. Nico Harrison has been on the receiving end of a lot of backlash. And this whole situation, this recent development of the draft lottery, the Dallas Mavericks being rewarded with the number 1 overall pick, despite having 1.8% chance odds of getting it. Teams like the Utah Jazz didn't get it. Teams that were the worst didn't even get it. So that is something that was a shocker. So over the years, several draft lotteries have been marred by allegations of manipulation, from the even infamous frozen envelope incident in 1985 to the Bulls landing hometown hero Derrick Rose in 2008. So while the NBA maintains that the lottery is conducted fairly, these controversies continue to cast a shadow over the whole process as a whole. And there are 8 examples that I'm going to go ahead and state. So to start, I'm going to start off with 1985 NBA draft. So the New York Knicks win Patrick Ewing in that situation, in that draft lottery. So in the inaugural NBA draft lottery, this is the first one, the New York Knicks secured the number 1 overall pick, allowing them to draft Georgetown Patrick Ewing. So the New York Knicks had a 14.29% chance, 1 in 7 of winning the top pick. So you can see, even with the Knicks winning it, they had a 14.29% chance, but still, you can see the selection process involved envelopes being drawn from a drum, and the conspiracy theories emerged suggesting that the Knicks envelope was tampered with, either frozen or bent, to ensure that they landed Patrick Ewing. Too good to be true, but hey, sometimes these things happen, and the NBA, they are their own entity, and they can operate the way they want. So the Knicks, being one of the league's premier franchises, landed a generational talent, the first ever draft lottery, fueled suspicions about the integrity of this process. So to this day, the 1985 draft remains one of the most debated moments in NBA history, and it was the start of many other controversial things that happened in the NBA draft. Then in 2003, where the NBA draft lottery happened, the Cleveland Cavaliers landed LeBron James. Arguably, LeBron James has gone on to have an illustrious and most successful career. And also this one it was marred by controversy. So the Cleveland Cavaliers won the 2003 lottery, granting them the right to draft hometown hero LeBron James. Despite finishing with the league's worst record, the Cleveland Cavaliers had a 22.5% chance of landing the top pick. So this outcome allowed the NBA to place its most anticipated prospect in years in his home state, boosting both the franchise and the league's popularity almost instantly. So it's a fairy tale-like situation, but arguably it might go down as one of the best decisions that ever happened into the NBA, and he was even dubbed the chosen one. This perfect alignment of interest, reviving a struggling franchise and maximizing LeBron James' marketability led to some speculation about the lottery's authenticity. To be fair, no evidence of manipulation existed, but the scenario was too perfect, and that's why LeBron James himself came out to speak about this recently in the Pat McAfee show. So, okay, there are not too many question marks on this one because the Cleveland Cavaliers had the worst record, and this NBA draft lottery process had not changed because they were the worst team historically during the previous regular season, was awarded the number 1 overall pick. But this all changed in 2019 when the 6 worst teams, the bottom 6 worst teams in the draft lottery, were given equal chances to be able to, even despite having the worst team having the best probability, they were given equal chances of landing the number 1 overall pick. That's what led to what we have right now. So previously, before 2019, the worst team was given the first overall pick, and in this one, it was a no-brainer. But the interests were too aligned. But a lot of times, it sometimes can be a coincidence. But anyway, it is what it is. So in the 2008 NBA draft, the Chicago Bulls jumped to number 1 to draft Derrick Rose, a hometown guy. So the Chicago Bulls, with a 1.7% chance, leaped from the 9th position to win the 2008 NBA draft lottery. This unexpected victory allowed them to select Chicago native Derrick Rose, a move that rejuvenated the franchise. The odds-defying outcome raised questions about the randomness of the lottery. So Rose's selection brought immediate success, culminating to an MVP award in 2011. This was too good to be true because the Bulls were desperate to find the replacement of Michael Jordan almost a decade after he had left. So the greatest player of the franchise history, Michael Jordan, he played there. So the fact that Rose fell into their lap is a bit suspicious, and even LeBron James believes in this. Again, it's too good to be true. LeBron James came out in the Pat McAfee show and he, poked and asked that question. Then in the 2011 NBA draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers won the draft to do the Clippers pick, and they utilized it to get Kyrie Irving. So in 2011, the Cavaliers won the lottery using a pick they acquired from the Los Angeles Clippers with a 2.8% chance of being number 1. Interestingly enough, the Cavs had a 15.6% chance of winning the lottery with their own pick, but instead got lucky with their less likely position. So this massive victory came a year after LeBron James departed from Miami, providing Cleveland with a swift opportunity to rebuild. So the Cleveland Cavaliers selected Kyrie Irving, setting the stage for future success, including playoff runs and eventually an NBA championship. So the timing of the win, coupled with the low odds, led to speculation about the league's desire to compensate Cleveland for LeBron's departure. So while the lottery process were transparent, the outcome seemed almost convenient because there wasn't a player more sought after in the draft than the talented Kyrie Irving, who's arguably the greatest ball handler who ever lived. So in the 2011 NBA draft, this was a year after LeBron James had left, and the Cleveland Cavaliers fall on rebuild mode. They had the worst record. They had the worst fall off in North American sports history after LeBron James left. And this was like a gift that the Cleveland Cavaliers were granted. And the crazy thing was, not only did the Cleveland Cavaliers land the 2011 first overall pick, they drafted Marcus Bennett Anthony Bennett in 2013 with the number 1 overall pick. There was no consensus number 1 overall pick in 2013, but the Cleveland Cavaliers got their number 1 pick. In 2014, the Cleveland Cavaliers drafted Andrew Wiggins with the number 1 overall pick. Then they flipped him for Kevin Love. So I'm going to address that also in a few. So in 2012, in the 2012 NBA draft, so the New Orleans Hornets secured Anthony Davis. So the New Orleans Hornets, recently purchased by the NBA, won the 2012 draft lottery with a 13.7% chance. This allowed them to draft Anthony Davis, a transformative talent. So the league's ownership of the team at the time fueled conspiracy theories about the integrity of the lottery, especially with the team being owned by the NBA. So critics argue that the NBA had vested interest in making the franchise more attractive for potential buyers. So this was a result of, CP3, that CP3 trade to the Clippers. So CP3 played for the Hornets, and CP3 said, and he was categorical and said, I'm not going to play here. You might as well trade me. And before I walk in free agency for nothing. So there was a whole situation of the NBA owning the Hornets, to the point where a trade was established. It was a 3-team trade between the Hornets, the Los Angeles Lakers, and the Houston Rockets. So CP3 was supposed to play with the Lakers alongside Kobe Bryant, but the NBA nixed that trade at the time because they had power, because they owned the Hornets. So the people who were in charge of the Hornets at that time with the NBA. So they nixed that trade, and subsequently led to another trade being manufactured, making sure that CP3 does not land to the Lakers, but instead landed to the LA Clippers. So this 2012 draft process, especially the draft lottery, I can say it was rigged because it was illegal. The whole NBA owned the Hornets, so they could decide what they wanted to do. If they even did an inside job to make sure that the franchise still remains relevant with the star player, that's what they're going to do. So securing a star like Anthony Davis certainly increased the team's value, adding fuel to the fire of skepticism, my God, surrounding the lottery's fairness. So in terms of what we believe with regards to the draft result, I mean, that's what happened. So, the New Orleans Hornets, owned by the NBA, were looking at a different direction, and they wanted to make the franchise relevant after CP3's departure. And this was the best shot that they had, and they were able to get Anthony Davis with the first overall pick there. So in 2014, in the NBA draft lottery, the Cleveland Cavaliers were able to draft Andrew Wiggins, and this is the third time in 4 years that the Cleveland Cavaliers were given, not even given, but they landed the first overall pick. So, I mean, they were historically bad, but this was crazy. I don't know if the NBA anticipated LeBron James' return to Cleveland from Miami, but this was crazy. So the Cleveland Cavaliers, with a 1.7% chance, won the lottery, marking their third win in 4 years. So this unprecedented streak raised eyebrows across the league, and the victory of the Cleveland Cavaliers allowed them to draft Andrew Wiggins, who was later flipped for Kevin Love. And I don't know if this is a coincidence, but after they were able to flip Andrew Wiggins for Kevin Love, LeBron James returned. And, it is what it is. So LeBron James, he came back with a strong supporting cast, and he was able to do that unthinkable thing in 2016, where he was able to go ahead and win the championship. So, I mean, the sequence of events, the lottery win, LeBron's return, and the subsequent trade that was not nixed, led to the speculation about the league orchestrating outcomes to make sure certain results were achieved, and particularly to NBA Finals appearances and NBA titles. So while no concrete evidence supports these conspiracy theories in this situation, I mean, the coincidences are very hard to ignore because it's a storyline. The Cleveland Cavaliers landed the first overall pick in 2014, drafting Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins was projected to play for Cleveland, but because he had Hall of Fame potential, the Cleveland Cavaliers decided to trade him for Kevin Love. LeBron James returns, so there's a big three that are instantly formed with LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Love in there. And they also, with a multitude of role players surrounding them. So they went to the finals 2015, couldn't win it, but in 2016 they were able to come back down 3-1 and win and beat the 73-9 Golden State Warriors. So this, I don't know. There's no concrete evidence, but the coincidences are too difficult to ignore at this point. So it is what it is. So in 2019, in the NBA draft lottery, New Orleans won it, and they were able to draft Zion Williamson. So this one, I must say, was crazy because this was the first time the odds of the teams, or the 6 worst teams, were evened out, even despite the worst team with the worst record having the highest chances. This is why all the 6 teams with the worst records had an equal chance of winning the first overall pick. And this was the first era in, the changes in the draft lottery. So the previous ones we have seen, the worst team was granted that, but it was just a crazy thing. So the Pelicans with a 6% chance won the 2019 lottery, granting them the right to draft Zion Williamson. So this win came shortly after Anthony Davis requested a trade, threatening the franchise's stability. So landing Zion Williamson provided an immediate replacement and revitalized the team's prospects. So the timing of the win led to theories that the NBA intervened to stabilize the franchise and remain competitive. So while the lottery process was overseen by independent auditors, the outcome's convenience still raises eyebrows till this day. So Anthony Davis forced his way out of New Orleans, and the New Orleans Pelicans just got rewarded the first overall pick. So you can even see there's a pattern. Like this, it's always a give or take. Like the NBA tries to make all the franchises relevant because can't imagine a situation where a team lacks a particular draw and it loses money in terms of rating. So this whole conspiracy theories just keep proving they just keep proving themselves every single year. And most recently in the 2025 NBA draft lottery, the Dallas Mavericks win the lottery after trading away Luka Doncic. So this was the trade for Luka Doncic. Trading away Luka Doncic was very controversial, but this one, winning the 2025 NBA draft lottery, Nico Harrison's Dallas Mavericks being rewarded with the first overall pick, raised a lot of eyebrows. And what that 1.8% chance is being questioned till this day. So finally, in the 2025 NBA draft lottery, the Dallas Mavericks, with a mere 1.8% chance, won the lottery a few months after trading away superstar Luka Doncic. This unexpected victory has positioned the Dallas Mavericks to be able to sign Cooper Flag and, to draft Cooper Flag as a potential cornerstone, especially with the whole situation with the Dallas Mavericks. They lost Kyrie to an torn ACL, after they acquired Anthony Davis. He's not been able to play for the Dallas Mavericks consistently. Daniel Gafford has been injured. Derek Lively has been injured. At some point, the team on the call like 7 players. There was even talks of the Dallas Mavericks forfeiting games because they have not even met the league rules in terms of players who are supposed to be available on the court. They didn't even have bench. Klay Thompson was out there doing his own thing and he's not able to do anything. So the NBA just rewarded this. And the timing of the win following a controversial trade that has been the center of the NBA season, which involved Luka Doncic and AD. And then this trade for Luka happening in closed doors. Then after that, we're seeing the number 1 overall pick being granted to them. Can't be scripted any better. And it's Adam Silver and the NBA who are doing this. So obviously, critics like me will argue that the league might have orchestrated the outcomes to compensate the Mavericks for losing a marquee player. While the lottery is conducted under strict protocols, the sequence of events have added another layer, another chapter about the process of fairness and and how is it that these patterns keep recurring. So, and especially for like a team like the Dallas Mavericks, a team that has become infamous, a team whose fan base have turned on them, and honestly, them getting rewarded with this first overall pick is eye-popping. And they're going to use it to draft Cooper Flag, no doubt. I mean, Cooper Flag, he has been balling out for the Blue Devils all season, and his college career, his one-and-done career has been great. And right now, the Dallas Mavericks are just licking their chops. I know you could even see the excitement that Nico Harrison had. He was so excited. He was jumping for joy. And at some point, you could see the weight of the decision of trading away Luka Doncic was so great to the point where he was not even comfortable watching home games. He was watching the games from the tunnel. He was receiving death threats. He was getting memed everywhere. And right now, he's even going to come out to pressers with his head held high, especially in the introductory press conference. We're going to see Cooper Flag, being introduced as a Dallas Maverick. He's going to be very happy. He's going to be smiling ear to ear and saying, you know what, we lost. Out with Luka, in with Cooper Flag and the roster that we have. So it's most of the time I feel like the NBA it's a ratings thing, and that's the reason as to why these things are happening. And I wouldn't be surprised if even if they try to tell you that it's strict, the NBA control everything. So even the draft process is controlled by the NBA. This thing is all scripted. The Dallas Mavericks getting rewarded like this. They had one of the craziest trades happening this season, and it happened behind closed doors, to the point where it changed like the landscape of the NBA, the way we know it, and it changed even how we look at stars. Are stars really untouchable? That's something that a lot of people are asking, especially NBA fans are even questioning, like, can your favorite star get traded anytime? Because that's one thing that we saw there. Because even in NBA 2K, some players are just untouchable. Luka was untouchable in NBA 2K, but it's only NBA in real life where he got traded, and it happened because if you had put Luka Doncic in the trade machine, no trade, it will have refused. But this one, but this one that happened in real life, especially Nico Harrison pulling the trigger on that, the NBA officers didn't even stop it. They just let it happen. I mean, they don't have the mandate to stop it because the NBA don't own the Dallas Mavericks. But anyway, it is what it is. So these are 8 situations that I saw that were crazy. And I must say, they put a spanner in the works and they asked that question: is this thing rigged? And are people aware of the patterns here? So this video's objective is just that. So do you agree with me? What are your comments? You can write your comments down in the comment section down below. What is your conclusion on this situation? Because there are patterns here, and my God, it's a crazy world we live in right now. So yeah, man, it is what it is. So do drop me your comments there. Like, share, subscribe. I'm trying to hit 10,000 on this platform, so with your help, I can be able to go ahead and do it. So yeah, man, I'm out. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace out.
Man, I don't know. You can't keep getting away with this! He can't keep getting away with it! He won't.
He's done it again! He's done it again! That is a foul! You fucking little bastard! He's done it again! You dirty bastard! You've done it again!
Was it worth it? Did you laugh, bitch?
Funny. Yes, but not funny, haha. Funny weird.